So we shall start with a brief introduction of mine. My name is Bharath. Yaram. I have secured all India rank of 67 in UPSC CSC 2023, and I have been allocated Indian Police Service. And I have done my engineering from NIT Surathkal in Electronics and Communication branch, and my optional was anthropology. So majority of the people probably who are attending may be having the same optional or political science, sociology, or Kannada literature if from Karnataka. So I'll be sharing my strategy, what I have worked in my previous 5 years, because since 2019 I've been working in the civil service preparation, and I have given interview once in 2022 and given mains since 2021. So there are several mistakes that I have committed and several learnings that I have learned during this preparation phase. So I'll be sharing that with you. But most importantly, it will be a proper strategy session for the coming months for UPSC CSC. So, just a brief introduction of yourself. Is there anyone who has given UPSC mains or interview? Is there anyone who has given interview? Please raise your hands. Or you can unmute and say if you have given interview. Okay, nice. So, anyone who has given mains? Okay, the same person who has given interview must have given mains. So we have the freshers batch kind of thing. So people are preparing for prelims right now. So we can properly strategize for next prelims, that is 2025 prelims. And for the people who have written mains, I'll be talking at the end. And by the end of the session, we will be taking the questions and giving the clarifications that is required. So just an introduction about the examination. The examination contains three parts, as we all know: the prelims, mains, and interview stage. The syllabus for prelims and mains the mains contain few aspects from the preliminaries, that is the history, economy, polity, geography, etc. But main syllabus will have some additional subjects, that is internal security, disaster management, etc. So considering the time we have in our hand right now, that is we are at the end of November, and only December that is left in our hands for mains preparation, because whatever may be the scenario right now, you should be preparing for mains from for prelim from January 2025. So in the coming month, that is from today in the sense, if you are talking at 2:49 by the evening, you should have proper strategy what should be done. So from tomorrow, you can do the subjects which are not in which cannot be seen in preliminaries. That is the internal security. You can go from GS 1, 2, 3, 4. In GS 1, you can do society part. GS 2, you can do the international relation. I don't suggest doing international relations right now, because the questions in UPSC mains from international relations are usually from current affairs. So leave that part to after preliminary examination, or during this preliminary aspect as well. You can do that in current affairs magazine. That is enough. So don't do that in GS paper 2, but you can go through governance part right now. In GS paper 3, though it may seem you will be reading that one for your preliminary, but the aspects that we study for prelims and mains are quite unique. So you may have to follow a different book source, a different material, or different strategy for GS paper 3. So we shall talk about the paper 3 later. But GS4 is one subject which you can strategize and fully utilize these next coming 30 days to ace in it. So GS paper 4 and ethics can be at forefront right now, and at least 2 to 3 subjects like internal security, disaster management, which has quite more relevance in terms of marks in mains. So next December, I'll give the timetable. That is how you can plan your day for next 1 month. From morning to afternoon, I suggest if you're coming to library at 8 o'clock, if you're not working professional, if you're coming to library at 8 o'clock, from 8 o'clock to 1 o'clock, please dedicate that time to your general studies paper. You select the paper and you select the subject that you are focusing on. So if you are studying from 8 to 1, keep that session from 8 to 12:30, because last half an hour should be for revision. Okay. So 8 to 1, you keep that for any general studies. And from 1 to 2, you take your break, and 2 to 5, you must be doing your optional subject, because this is the last few days where you will be having time to do the optional subject, because after the January you'll be dedicating that time for current affairs or CSAT papers. So finish your optional subject as soon as possible. If possible, keep that as priority, because you can do the additional subjects so in the January afterwards as well, if there is any correlation. So after that, I suggest people to do answer writing in the current stage itself, because since we are at the ending stage, you keep at least 1.5 to 2 hours of your time for writing answers. So how do you write your answers? So since we are at the 27th of November, dedicate next 2 to 3 days in seeing the toppers copy. Any toppers copy, if you are studying GS paper 2 or GS paper 3, see the toppers copy from that subject, and try to analyze how the toppers are analyzing the questions and how they are generating the points. So after the second day, third day also you do the same, but in the third day you see the question and try to frame the answers in your mind, or you can write it down as well, and try to compare it with the toppers. So there you can get a proper uh, way where you should be going in writing your answers. So next 3 days, if you are starting to write your answers, 2 days you should be keeping it for seeing the toppers answer copy, and third day you start writing your answers. So I'm assuming that you have completed your basic book studies, or you have a basic knowledge regarding the general studies part. So I'm suggesting you can write answers from day 3. Okay. So after that, how do you go forward with respect to answer writing? So as I've suggested, from morning to afternoon, you'll be studying your general studies paper. So you collect the questions from previous year questions, or from test series, or any other websites that are available in the internet, and collect the question on those topics. If that is available in the internet and updated on daily basis, I'd suggest you should be doing that, because in that you can write and upload, and also you can see other people in the comment section. You can see other people writing and uploading the answer, so that you'll get idea of various dimensions that could have been generated for that answer, and also you'll be able to understand how is the competition in the market, because every year UPSC is evolving, and every year the toppers are coming up with the newer ideas, and people are getting adapted to the newer ideas. So if you're putting so much of effort to find out an idea which is already running in the market, then I don't think it is a good strategy. So utilize what is already running in the market, implement that your answers, see what others are writing, and improve based on that. So what are the methods that I would suggest for doing your current mains related subjects is, I did only as Prahar, that you can do Shunya or any material that is proper mains material. That is, if you have internal security, that is properly mentioned, what all comes under uh, the GS paper 3 internal security, left wing extremism, etc. They have given headings and the proper related datas, arguments, and related examples, etc. So everything is consolidated in the single notebook. So you do that, and that much is very much fine. That information you can utilize to write really good answers. So do those materials, which one you find better, but keep that source as final. And any information that is available in that material will be enough to write answer, because in mains the syllabus is very well defined. They cannot go out of the syllabus. So the thing that is required for mains is how to utilize that in your answers. Okay. And also in the next 1 month you do that material reading. But if you are giving 2026 attempt, you can utilize the next coming months for writing your answers. In that you complete your core subjects, as well as what are remaining in the material. If it is only S or Shunya, complete all the papers. And paper wise, I would like to suggest a few value additions. In GS1, though history, modern history, or ancient history, art and culture, those they seem same for prelims and mains. The additions that you can do is the expert analysis regarding certain kingdoms or certain kings. Um, you can find that in the Prahar material, the historians, what they said about this king, what they said about the empire, how it evolved. So that gives a unique and in-depth analysis for certain kingdom. You keep one dialogue for one period of time. If it is for 1857 to 1890, for that period you can take one dialogue, and that would be more than enough. And also, for example, to tell this more clearly, um, I'm not able to recall which newspaper and all, but in one newspaper it was said that Mahatma Gandhiji has said the British Empire established in India because of the cooperation of Indians, and it continued because of cooperation of Indians. So if we remove the cooperation for at least 1 year, we'll get the Indians. That's why he launched non-cooperation movement. So if I don't remember the exact dialogue, but if you can remember the exact dialogue and perspective, and you'll get a really good score. You should be collecting those, and that are available in the material. So that is a valuation that you can do for the history, where people think the material is same and the information is same. And GS paper 2, GS paper 1 society part, and GS paper 1 society part, that requires more of analytical skills, and that requires going out of box, because the questions are not from any material. So if you follow any material, the questions won't come from there. So what you should be doing is taking the recent judgments, or taking the data that are relevant for each section of the society, and try to use it in the questions. So the society part is majorly about your skills about writing answers to these questions. So society part, you write answers, see the type of answer copy, and go through the materials that are available with you. So that one you can do. And GS paper 2, M. Lakshmikant is the basic source material, and everyone should read it from front page to back page. You should be very much well versed with that. But after that, what is required for mains is the judgments, the recent judgments. You can find the consolidation of judgments based on the articles, or if it is on fundamental rights, they have consolidated it: freedom of speech and expression and related judgments. So you can get that in the PDF formats. So you can download that and keep that as your notes material. And in addition to that, you must also be requiring data related to the parliamentary proceedings, how the number of bills, how many bills have been passed to the second house, how many bills have been scrutinized, and the number of sittings, how they have decreased over the period of time. If you have that data, that can also be used in number of questions. That one is required, and articles are must for political questions. So if you are struggling with remembering articles, what you can do is remember one article that can be used in different places. For example, Article 79. Article 79 says that there should be the parliament containing lower house and upper house and president. So if I can't remember one article for each of them, I'll remember Article 79 and write that. If it is on Rajya Sabha, I'll write same. If it is Lok Sabha, I'll write same. So that is kind of rescue if you don't know. Sorry? 75. Article 75. Article 75 is there should be Council of Ministers to aid and advise. 75 is collective responsibility. Article 79 is there should be a lower house, upper house, and president. So if you don't remember that particular, we can. Okay. So we are discussing about polity. So these are the most important part of polity. And one more thing that I would like to emphasize here is, if you know two numbers, you should write graph. You can write the decline in the bills passed to committees. If you know two numbers, just write two lines. One is bigger one is smaller one. Just write it is in declining trend. So that way you can utilize the numbers that you know to gain some extra marks. And in GS paper 1, you write maps wherever possible. That will fetch good marks. But don't utilize much of your space for writing diagrams. Right corner, smaller one. That shouldn't feel irrelevant. But for questions like twisters in 2023. When we don't have any content, we write half page of diagram. That is, we can't do anything because we don't know any content related to twister. So in that period of time, we can do that. But keep it as short. Make content as primary. And with respect to GS paper 3, GS paper 3 is more of data and factual kind of paper. So you should follow one source. For me, it was only as Prahar. So I did from cover to cover on that one. And data are most important. I collected the data and recent examples which are coming in the newspapers or which are available in the current affairs magazines. I collected them and added that in my notes. And I have never had 2-3 notes for a single subject. I had only one notes. I prepared one note for prelims in 2020, that one 300 pages book, and I wrote all the subject in that one 300 pages. So how I added the information on that is, if I have any space, I write in that space. If I don't have space, I just take a sheet of paper. I'll write what is relevant, and I just paste in wherever it is possible. So have one notes, just add information to that. So in next reading, that will become part of your notes and will become part of your multiple revisions. So keep only one notes. If you, even if you're, I don't suggest adding a lot of information, but if it is very relevant and there is much of possibility that it is going to be asked, add that your notes. Okay. So we were discussing about the GS paper 3. That is mostly data related, and you should be very much well versed with the examples, data, etc. And GS paper 4. GS paper 4 is very unique kind of paper because whatever you read, there will be no question from your textbook. So what you should be doing is take any book, whether it is DK Balaji or any other coaching material book, complete the book and then gain the conceptual clarity. Then take the keywords that are present in the syllabus. If it is empathy, if it is compassion, etc. Take that keyword, write definition. Definition should be simple. Simple and how we remember in our lame terms. Empathy, the compassion, tolerance, ability to sympathize with others. Like this, simple words should be used because we'll not be able to recollect that in the 10 scenarios that GS paper 4 creates. And below that, you should be having 3 or 4 examples. The 3 or 4 examples is first one is officer example. You should be having collection of 35 keywords, and 35 keywords should have 35 unique officer example because you can use that in multiple manners. One officer example, other one is philosopher example, and next one is that can be your personal life example. And fourth one is most important is what happens if that value doesn't exist. What happens if the keyword is empathy? Fourth example should be what happens if empathy doesn't exist. That example you should collect. And in addition to that, there is one syllabus or one portion in the ethics syllabus that contains the ethics philosophies and philosophers. From there, you can collect the philosophical theories. You just make a list of theories and try to adjust that with keywords. If empathy comes, I'll write this philosophy. If morality comes, there is one philosophy given by by Aristotle, that is moral intellectualism. Whatever may be the question, if it contains keyword moral, I'll write this example, I'll write this philosophy. You just be fixed to that. And most important one is quotes. How to collect the quotes? If you are reading empathy, just Google quotes on empathy, collect 1 or 2, that will be more than enough. So whatever you're doing right now, that can be used in both ways. That is for ethics as well as for essay. So that is very good investment on time. The ethics, philosophy, the examples, etc. And after writing these notes, you should be not more than 10 to 15 pages. That will sail your GS paper 4 syllabus. After that, you must have created the keywords of 30 to 35 ethics keywords. You just write down that in paper. Between prelims and mains, every day you write those keywords before writing your answers. Empathy, compassion, justice, tolerance, etc. But every single day you start with different keywords, because once you start writing your ethics answer, everything is empathy and compassion, because we start with that. So we don't think much about that. So we're starting with empathy, then start with tolerance, then start with the objectivity. So a different set of keywords. After that, we'll be having 3 months of time period between prelims and mains. 1 month you do that. After 1 month, in those 2 months, if you're writing empathy, and write related keywords. What are related to empathy? What are the keywords related to empathy? So you just write keywords, try to brainstorm, because whatever may be the question, those are the keywords that are going to follow in your answers. You can fit that in your international relation environment, whatever may be the question of in the setting, you'll go through the same set of keywords. So that gives a proper flow for your answers. So that will suffice for GS paper 4. But GS paper 4 is majorly about using those keywords in your answers. So you should be writing on daily basis, especially between prelims and mains. For me, I hadn't kept a proper particular set of days for GS paper 4 preparation, because I used to do that on daily basis. Every day I had kept around half an hour to 1 hour for GS4 preparation itself. So I didn't keep separate time for that. So in coming month, that is in November, at max, I think you'll be able to write 4 essays. That is well and good, but it is a good start that you can do. One second. Okay, every weekend you at least you try to brainstorm your essays. So as I've said, since next 2 to 3 days, if you're keeping to read Dropper's answer copy, do that for ethics essays as well. See essay topic, and try to uh, make a backbone what you're going to write in this essay, and see the Dropper's answer copy and how they are going to write. But what makes essay unique, and what makes people to gain extra score in essays is getting unique examples. If you are writing Buddha, Ashoka, Mahatma Gandhiji, the evaluator need not have to go through that paragraph, because everyone must have written in the previous papers. So you should be collecting unique examples. So how do you collect the unique examples? So if you are making notes for essay, we all know the dimensions that should be written for essays. Society part, economy, polity, international relations, etc. We know the dimensions. For society part, you see the Padma Shri awardees, Padma Vibhushan awardees, or any other awards which are related to social service. You'll get the name, you see their backstories. So you'll get some of the stories which can be used in multiple ways. Collect that story and that example, collect two to three examples of such, and write that in your notes. So that will be sufficient. You can use that in multiple essays, whatever may be the topic. Though you may not believe we can use that in multiple topics, but once you get the topic, you'll adjust that. So make sure that you collect 2 to 3 examples of such for each of the dimensions. In addition to that, for essay, you may require books and ideas. So if you don't have introduction to good books on some subjects, for example, polity, for example, international relations. So what you can do is you can Google the three most important, or three most unique books on polity in 2024. You'll get book's name, author's name, and search for the summary of the book. There's very much of websites where we can get 3 minute summary, etc. From there, you can collect the book summaries and write that in your notes. That too for dimension, for each dimension. So that one can be done for essay. And as I've said, what we have done for ethics and essay, that can be used interchangeably. So that one would be helpful. But most of the people, where they go wrong with the essay paper is they do essay as mere collection of examples, but essay is not mere collection of examples. It should be arguments. If they are given quote, you need not justify the quote in every paragraph. You just throw the questions: what, why, how is it possible, what are the factors that are making it happen. So that gives kind of unique perspective in each of the paragraph, and that is not out of the demand of the question. So you should be working on that, and the toppers must have written on that line as well. If possible, I'll be sharing my answer copies as well and explaining that through 50. So that one we can do, and I'll do that when I get time. So this is regarding essay topic. Since in next 1 month you'll get 4 weekends, 4 essays you can write. After those 4 essays, on next weekends you can keep at least 15 minutes or 20 minutes just to brainstorm. Weekends on Sundays, morning 10 to 11, or whenever you feel writing essay, you just write structure what you're going to write in the essay, and that would be more than enough. Between prelims and mains, you can properly work on the essay paper. So this is the plan for November to December. So what you're going to do after December is properly focusing on prelims. No matter if you haven't completed the topics which I've said right now, if you're not able to complete the answer writing, if you're not able to get hold of the answer writing, don't worry about that. Just jump into the prelims preparation, because prelims is the deciding factor, and the prelims is filtering out process, most important filtering out process in the preparation phase. So you should be jumping into the preliminary preparation. Excuse me. So between January and prelims, that is May 26th, if I'm not wrong, this year, you should make a 25th. Okay. You should make a timetable such that you will revise each of the subject at least 4 times. Though 4 times seems very difficult, we may feel time constrained, but it may not be in the reality, because the fourth revision may not require that much of time. It may require at least not more than 10 to 12 days, because since you have done it 3 times, you will be able to complete the book in very less amount of time. So it doesn't matter how much time you're giving in first revision. So make that one revision proper. The first revision, what happens after the January. So how do you do the first revision? I'm assuming that you have read the books. NCRT is the R.S. Sharma, Lakshmikant. So I'm assuming that. So if you are reading those topics, uh, for example, if you're starting with history, modern history spectrum, the advent of Europeans, if you're studying advent of Europeans from morning to afternoon, 12:30 to 1 revision, and afternoon it is current affairs revision. But in evening, rather than writing answers, you should be focused on solving MCQs. MCQs based on the topic that you have studied from the morning. Where do you get those MCQs that are freely that are freely available in the market, and various sources we can get topic wise MCQs. So that will be helpful in understanding how we have remembered the topic that we have read in the morning. And second one, we know the information related to those aspects, but the question is out of box, assuming the question is out of box. So that helps you to decode the questions with the limited information that you have. So that will help you in gaining intuition to eliminate the options and come to the answer. So you should be doing that on regular basis. And for current affairs, I was doing only as a current affairs daily thing. But recently I talked to the Statecraft team. They are also saying they are doing current affairs classes on regular basis. So if it is that, do current affairs from single source, and do multiple revision from the single source. I'll talk to the management if they are coming up with the current affairs MCQs. If they are coming up with current affairs MCQs, that will be helpful for the revision as well. So that would be a really good initiative for current affairs. That would be more than enough. Don't invest much of time on current affairs, because if the question has to come from very much outside, nobody will be able to solve those questions. So one single source, one test, and that's done for current affairs. Invest what all time and what all energy you have on general studies core subjects, especially on the economy, polity, geography, etc. Even in the history part or the art and culture part, you can invest time on Buddhism and Jainism. You collect information from wherever possible for Buddhism and Jainism only, and the remaining parts you read multiple times from the limited source. For Buddhism and Jainism, I can suggest A.L. Basham, The Wonder That Was India. That has really good information for Buddhism and Jainism. From there, you can do validation for Buddhism and Jainism. That one would be more than enough. So this will be for next after January. For economy, the conceptual clarity is much more important than going through the classes or anything. So any class or any book would be more than sufficient, but solving MCQs will be more important. For that, Vivek Singh will come up with 450 questions or 550 questions, so that you can solve. If it is from previous year, that one also you can do, but it would be helpful if you do the current year, because the current year one will be having the current year budget and economics are related questions as well. So those 450 questions or 550 questions that varies based on the year are must for economy. Everyone should solve that. And for geography, I believe that will be majorly from NCRT or current affairs, so nothing much is required. For polity, they are going much deeper, non M. Lakshmikant kind of questions. For that, you may have to go through at least class 11th and 12th NCRT polity. So, since now you have time, you can go through that, and it won't take much time. The NCRTs will not take much of time. You can go through that. Economy, polity, geography, and environment. Environment part, I think if you're doing PMF, if you're doing Shankar, both are really good. And in addition to that, the current affairs. If you're doing monthly magazines, do that, and that are more than sufficient. So that will sum up how the next coming days should be for preliminary preparation. So the first revision should not take a lot of time. Should take a lot of time, but in the second revision, third revision, fourth revision, the amount of time that you're giving for revision should come down. If you haven't made notes till now for prelims, do not worry about that. But if you have made notes, that is well and good. Revise your notes multiple times. Take tests, and if you have if you want to make notes of out of your test, and if you don't want to add that to your notes, you one more thing you can do is you can keep a separate book and divide that book into number of subjects that you have. 10 pages for history, 10 pages for polity, economy, etc. Whatever the additional information comes, add that to that book. Whatever the information, whether from test series or anything, but don't overdo this. Don't fill those 10 pages. Keep that at max 2 to 3 pages, and that will be an additional notes in addition to this. If you haven't prepared notes, that's also well and good. Just prepare from the books that you have read. Okay, this will suffice. This is all what wanted to tell this session. If you have any further doubts, I'll be let clarifying your doubts.
Sir, I have.
Yes.
How much time should take to structure the essay, sir?
How much time you should be taking to
Structure.
structure the essays? Okay, we'll be having around 3 hours for in answer in the mains paper. 1.5 we will be keeping for one essay. In that, 15 to 20 minutes you should be keeping it for structuring essay. And also, I'd suggest, even if it is going more than 20 minutes, if keep below 25, because if you don't have a proper structure for essay, at the end you are going to struggle. If it is second essay, if the time is getting constrained at the end, you'll not be able to think anything. So your structure for the essay should be proper. After proper conclusion, you go and write your essays. That one you should keep. So ideal time is 20 minutes. or else you will struggle with the writing part. And I got a question here: how to analyze the tests? Okay, there are 2 3 ways how to analyze the test. One thing is okay. One thing is you're doing on a regular basis. That is, as I said, topic wise you are studying. From there, you can get the questions and you see where you are going wrong. Whether it is information based, information lack. If you have missed that question because of lack of information or because lack of analysis. If it is lack of information, you should be gaining information. If it is lack of analysis, then what is required in your preparation phase is more of writing tests, more of analytical ability. That the analytical ability comes only through writing tests, not just through reading books and going through multiple sources. Because through tests, we can go through or we can understand our mistakes more holistically. If you have committed a mistake in one single topic, then if you see those synopses, you'll remember it much better than just reading the textbook. And in addition to that, you can make a note out of your Google spreadsheet or something, and you can make note of what are the topics where you are going wrong. So if you are going through economics, environment subject, make topics wise spreadsheet and try to analyze or try to see the number of questions has which has come from that topic, how much has gone right, how much has gone wrong. Then you can do analysis of that. But I don't think don't over analyze your test. uh, don't clinch on your past test. But if you are scoring bad because of your fact, because of the facts, there is not much to think. There is you shouldn't give much time on that. But going back to test is really, it is kind of, nowadays questions are like statement based where elimination kind of thing is not going to work. How to handle those? Like how many statements are right? Statement, only one statement right, two statement right, three statement right. Okay. Yes, this is kind of difficult thing that has come up in UPSC in the coming years. So what I used to do was, I don't know whether it works for everyone. So take it at to your own risk. Hmm. So what I used to do is, I know that my information is not, or I don't have 100% clarity on those subjects, and I'm not a professor in those subjects. So I'd like to keep a buffer of one or two. So I was taking middle paths, two to right or two, three right. If I know one is right, then probably I'll find at least next one or two, three statements. Is there any probability that next one statement can be right? Then I'll go with two. So that one I used to do, but I don't know how it work in the coming examinations. But this is a kind of unique innovations that are coming up in UPSC. And also now in the 2023, we have seen they have come up with three tables. So that is also a kind of questions we have to work on. But this requires a lot of information to uh, go through that. But we have to solve a number of MCQs to get through that. Only that can help. But if the UPSC becomes very much tougher, the cutoff will come down likewise. So everyone's preparation will be almost similar. So don't worry about that. But be very well aware of the current ongoing trends, solve the questions based on that, and develop the intuitions like this. So that will be helpful in examination. If they are coming up with unique questions, so that will be difficult for everyone, and that will not be having negative impact on cutoffs. How to prepare for CSAT? Okay, CSAT, maybe from because of my engineering background, I didn't face much of difficulty. But what I can suggest from the other toppers' studies or other toppers' suggestions is, um I followed one website, that is indiabix.com website, that engineers used to solve for the placements. So I relied on those websites. There we have a number of segments. that is arithmetic segment, logical reasoning segment, and in that we have sub segments, that is time and speed, permutation and combination. So I used to keep one day for one sub segment. If I'm doing time and speed, I'll do around 10 to 15 unique kind of questions based on time and speed. And that website has those unique kind of questions. If they have given speed, it will be, we have to find out time. So the same formula can be used in multiple ways. So that one I used to do. And people will also suggest Amit Garg. That's also unique. And that's also kind of a good YouTube channel that you can refer to. So, how to reduce negative marks? Is there any technique for that? Hmm, I don't know about how to reduce negative marks. Either you should skip it or you should get it right. So, I suggest is if you don't know any option, if there is a question, if you don't know 100% or any of the question, the options available in that question, just skip it. You don't have to follow the topper's rule of 85 questions you should attend, 90 questions you should attend. 85 is a safe score, and I usually keep that number, but that is not a golden rule to for the prelims. So if you don't know anything, just skip that question. But if you are able to eliminate two, if you are in 50-50, you should be attending, because there is no single person who knows more than 50 questions, even if they are toppers or anything. More than 50 questions, even the 50 questions is exaggerated number. So you should be taking those courageous step during the preliminary. So 50-50 you should be doing. But when it comes to elimination of one, and when we have three options in our hand, there you can choose to either attend it or skip the question. So that one you can do. So if you have eliminated one question, and if you think you can eliminate one more, invest more time on that, mark that on the question paper, try to solve it at the end after marking in the OMR sheet. If you're able to eliminate one more, or if you can think of eliminating one more, then go and mark that. That one can be done. But I don't know if that if that was helpful for reducing the negative marks. So how to do map reading? Okay, in map reading there will be two kinds of question. One is static question, and other one is current affairs based question. For static question, I'd suggest keep the physical map of world and physical map of India on your table. Stick that in front of your table. See that on regular basis. So on seeing on regular basis, that will stick in your mind. Probably the questions will be on the mountain ranges, where it goes, the desert, where it is, and what are the influences. So you should be linking up. If there is a desert here, if it is a cold desert, there should be cold current. So you'll be linking your geography knowledge with that map thing. So that comes with static part, that should be on your table. But how do you prepare for the current affairs one? So either you can do it from the current affairs material. Vision will come up with the geography or environment current affairs material. From there, you'll get the national parks in news, the recent Ramsar additions. So these are the questions that will come up in the current affair, the maps question from current affairs. And in addition to that, you can do places in news. You can search in YouTube places in news UPSC 2025 2024. So you can get the places that are in news in the past 1 year that are relevant for that prelims. If you're doing one material or one video, keep that as restrict that to one video and do multiple revisions. As I said, do not go behind much of information. That would be more than sufficient. So, in addition to that, with respect to writing answers, I regularly get the questions regarding how much time should be kept for writing single answers. So in the initial phase, I suggest do not worry about time because as I have earlier, the syllabus for mains is properly mentioned, information is limited. So if you get a question, try to write really good answer for that question. So once the content is prepared, once the diagram is prepared, graph is prepared, only thing that differs is question. So after that, you will be adjusting the same graph, same chart, etc. for the coming questions. So write one answer. The next answers will invariably will be good. You don't have to think much on those. So first question, even if it is 10 marker, if it is taking 12 minutes, 30 minutes, do not mind on that. But writing answers on regular basis, you should be having one or two answers, half an hour per day. That one for next month till December. That one. And for answer writing for the next 1 month, since you are going through answer writing, uh, I would like to tell few more things that can be done uniquely. Um, for introductions, if you're studying polity, read the recent context. Anti-defection, if the question is on anti-defection, you can collect the recent examples to give the context where it has happened, rather than writing the 52nd Constitutional Amendment 1985. Everyone will write, but if you are able to link the current affairs there, that will be kind of unique, and that will fetch you marks. That one you can do. And in body, if you don't have much of information, this one is between prelims and mains, because when you don't have much of information, try to increase the number of subheadings. If they have asked to write about the food processing industry, write about food processing industry. If the content is drained, then you can write what are the steps taken, etc., etc. Don't just fill the pages, or you can subdivide in that